We're here today to talk about employer standards, brought to you by the Careers and Enterprise Company and the West London Careers Hub. Let's take a look. It was a really good podcast. I hope you enjoy it. Great, so let's get into it. Marnie, if I come to you first, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Marnie Bourne from the Careers and Enterprise Company, and I look after our employer standards framework and tool.
Brilliant. I'm getting a bit of an accent there, which we can come to in a minute, Marnie. Thank you. And Matt.
So good morning. My name is Matt Carter from the West London Careers Hub. My role is the Employer Engagement Enterprise Coordinator, we call it EEC. So it's helping employers engage with the careers education and the schools that we support in West London.
Great. So we've got CEC and a Careers Hub here as well. There's 44 Careers Hubs around England, is that right?
Yeah, 44. And we, as West, we work collaborative with, there's 4 that are all funded by the Greater London Authority. Even though they're different organisations, we work very closely together as all 4 hubs in London to support all the young people there.
Great. So the mission for us today really is to talk about employer standards, which we'll come on to. But just in case someone hasn't heard of this before, Careers and Enterprise Company, Marnie, could you just elaborate a little bit more on what that company is and what it does?
Yeah, sure. So we're the national body for careers education in England, and our role is to bring together schools, young people, colleges and employers to really help every young person find their best next step by providing really world-class careers education.
I love it. And the accent from Australia, I'm going to guess. Could you just maybe let us know a little bit about what you got into this job? It's interesting.
Sure. I've actually been in the UK more than 20 years. I just can't lose the accent. So, yes, I've always worked at that nexus of bringing together employers in a purpose-driven way to improve society.
And I must ask you, the best thing about working for the CEC?
The people. Everyone is really committed to the mission.
Amazing. Cool. So let's get into employer standards then. What are they? I suppose, Marnie, let's start with you. Then Matt, let's come to you in terms of what it means to you as a careers hub. Yeah.
Sure. So the employer standards is a framework and an associated tool that helps employers to understand how to make the best impact through their careers education. So the best impact for young people and the best impact for their business. So it's a set of 9 standards, and each of those represents an element of good practice for careers education.
Amazing. So they've been around just for a couple of years, is that right?
That's right. So about 2.5 years. And since then, we've had 1,300 employers use the tool, which is a fantastic number. So we now have a really great sense of the things that make the best difference, because we also ask employers about the business benefits they're finding from their careers education. So we can see that doing high quality careers education really does have great impact for business, as well as young people, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. So business, young people. So Matt, why are these being created from your point of view? Because if I'm a business, I'm running my business, but I also want to recruit great staff and young people. Apprenticeships is what I'm thinking of here as well. Yeah. How does this maybe help me as a business, I wonder?
It's really helpful because over the sort of 3 main areas, the sort of dirty when it's broken down. So when they do the self-assessments, it can really gauge where, as an employer, that you're actually working with careers education. If you're not, it can really give you the toolkit to help and improve. But looking at the future with sort of modern work experience, for example, standard 1 is all about being meaningful. So it actually gives hints and tips and ideas to help that employer when they're going into the schools and the colleges, that the right work they're doing is really impactful and sort of meaningful to that young person. And we've got some great examples of some employers, some that we've got an SME now that only uses the working with education after doing the standards over the last couple of years, actually only using schools to do their recruitment. So their recruitment costs are really reduced. Okay. So they're building up their talent pipeline.
Right, okay, we'll get on to the business benefits, I think. Hey, and Marnie, so if I'm in charge of careers in a school, I've got the Gatsby benchmarks I'm working towards. I need to be making sure that I'm doing really well around meeting those benchmarks. That helps me deliver good careers advice in my school. Is this the equivalent, but for businesses who are maybe before this a little bit lost in terms of how do I make my impact really good in the schools?
I suppose it is in some ways. The way we like to think about it is it's really providing that codification and roadmap for continual improvement for business. So it is a set of standards that they can work towards. Unlike the Gatsby benchmark, which is sort of mandatory for schools, this is completely voluntary, which is what makes it so amazing that we've had 1,300 employers use the tool already, and that they're really, committed to improving the quality of how they engage with young people.
Okay, cool. And so you say there's 9 different sort of areas that you can assess and impact yourself against the assessment, Maybe which ones stick out to you as some of the ones that you think are really, really important?
Sure. I mean, it's a bit like choosing your favourite child, which is really hard. But I think standard one, provide meaningful opportunities, is so important because we know that there's a lot of goodwill from employers to be doing the right thing, and there's also a lot of aspiration for them to do the things that make a difference for their business. And so if those opportunities that they're doing are not well informed and are not meaningful and don't have the impact that they want, then it's not good use of anyone's time. So that's really fundamental. And in fact, many of the other standards do interrelate with standard one in some way. So standard two, be inclusive. Well, of course, you want those meaningful opportunities to be inclusive. Standard three is about evaluation. So how do you know they're meaningful? Is you have to evaluate them. So there's a lot of interplay between the standards.
And how does it practically work? Do I have to... So let's bring it back. So if I'm an employer maybe and I want to engage with schools, in fact, Matt, why would I want to engage with a school, would you say, if I'm an employer? So I've got a business. Let's use Pathway CTM. I'm 15 people. I'm looking to grow. We've just hired an apprentice, actually. Maybe I want to hire a couple more. Where would I work with you and why would I get involved?
One of the reasons we want more employers to get involved is really to showcase the industries and sectors that are out there. And the best way for young people to learn from that is actually speaking to actual employers and apprentices themselves, because and that is really meaningful work that they're actually going to hear from the people actually doing it. Also, as well, there's a lot of hidden industries out there. For example, in West London, sort of food manufacturing is one of the biggest industries that are there. Over a third of all the food is produced for the whole of London, in West London. Wow. And there's so many job roles people don't realise. So it's really helping them, young people realise what jobs are going to be there for the future as well. But only employers can sort of engage and sort of showcase that. And you can look at a website, you can look at it, but you don't realise, what's there, what you need to get into those roles. And how you can actually progress and start your career that way. So employers are a really great codifier way of sort of really promoting what's there.
And Marnie, I guess that's what the CEC have done, isn't it? They've helped England get employers like myself and bigger employers thinking, if you want to hire great talent, if you want to make an impact on skills, get out there and make it happen yourself. It's quite a positive message, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think what we really aim to do is make it easy and make it efficient and make it impactful, because everybody's short on time. And so working through one of our 44 careers hubs makes it easier. It means that the West London hub here can connect you to the schools that are most in need and most ready to connect, and then you'll have the greatest impact. And again, with the standards, everyone is time poor. So if you can spend 25 minutes using this tool and it can tell you what are going to be the things that will have the most impact, it's a really good use of time.
And could you maybe break that down now? So now I think I do understand why I'm going to schools and why I want to make that impact. By the way, SMEs and big corporates, it's for both?
Yes, absolutely. So about 45% of the employers who've used the tool so far are SMEs, so really high impact. And we see really good scores and business benefits from them. And quite a high proportion of those are coming back and using the tool a second time. So we've got a good cohort of employers who are using the tool a second and sometimes a third time already. Great.
So I'm getting the message from the CEC, get out into schools, make a difference, look after your own skills agenda, look after your own talent pipelines. So that makes sense to me as an SME. That makes sense to me definitely as a big corporate, because I need to be doing more, I think, with CSR and giving back and getting my brand out there and being competitive. So now I understand why I want to do it, and hopefully you do it at home as well. How does it work practically? You mentioned there's like a website, maybe a tool, like just really practically, how does it work?
Yeah. So the framework is available on our website to download if you just want to know what are those 9 elements which are important and make a difference. But then if you want to test yourself against that, you can do what we call a self-assessment, which is using our online tool. It's free to use. It just takes 25 minutes. You register and you answer a series of questions. You get your results straight away. You also get tailored recommendations based on those results, and you also get access to resources, case studies, peer-to-peer videos, things like that, which will help you improve what you're doing.
What's been some of the feedback from employers in terms of, this has helped me the most potentially?
Yeah, we've had some employers that are quite surprised when some of their scores are low, but we say to them that you're new, they're not doing that, but it gives them some area to improve on, because they thought, but actually a lot of employers are actually doing some great work out there, and it actually are shown and rubber stamped what work they're doing, so they can really showcase, and using the standards, they can actually really show that they are doing it, and they've got some actual results.
Yeah.
And it gives that self-esteem as well as an employer, And also, if it is a large organisation, we've got some great small CRS teams that can then go on to their hires ups and that and say, look, this is the impact we're making as a business.
Yeah. And Matt, so there's 44 of you, you're around England in terms of the career hub. Could you just let us know a little bit about how that's formed? Like how many in your team and what do you guys do?
My role is getting more employers and supporting the employers with their engagement with the schools and the colleges. And then we have a team of sort of enterprise coordinators that link direct with the schools, helping them to improve the quality within the schools with the Gatsby benchmarks. And then look into the future with the new modern work experience that's coming in with the Equalex model. We're adapting a little bit where we'll have a team that will support the schools and employers with their meaningful opportunities. So we can look and tailor make to what an employer really wants to get involved in and what the school is looking for, and we can match that up rather than, some employers think, oh, why do I have to go and do that? And some schools are asking for that, and they think, what's the time? So we want to make it really impactful as a hub. But that's where our expertise, because everyone that works at the careers has either worked in careers or education or in employment, so bringing those skills together and really taking away some of the sort of barriers and sort of the connections as well, and making it a lot easier, because everyone says time is poor these days, and we can resource and help the schools, but also help the employer.
I love it. And how many schools in West London? How many secondary schools that I might be able to recruit a 16-year-old from? We got 179 institutions that we're supporting, and it also includes some of the college groups. So you've got the 16-year-olds that can start their apprenticeships from then, but you've also got people doing their technical routes, their if you think of T levels, so they're learning a bit more skills. So they're actually coming a bit more understanding the industry a lot more. So when you are recruiting, they are really a bit more ready. So it's a great link in, and actually offering them sort of getting involved in modern work experience. It's like a long tailored interview that you're going to be doing over a 12-month period. No, I love it. And you're right. I guess in getting involved with the hub then, you're going to give me access to those schools really quickly, really effectively. If I want to take on a young person as a T-level placement, maybe you could support me with that too. Yeah, I'm getting it. And I just want to ask you one really pinpoint question. Where is the biggest challenge with employers? And what is the employer standards doing to fix that? Yeah.
And the great thing about the employer standards is it's showing good practice from employers that have done the standards. And like we say, they've been running for 3 to 4 years. There's some great evidence there. And, working together, and there's some employers that, in, for example, the application process. So if somebody's not gone in and done a mock interview before, once they've done the standards, they'll get access to a resource that'll have a template there for them. So they can actually just download that and they can come in ready. So they don't have to go in and produce things. And I always say anything that can save you reinventing the wheel.
So the resources are there for me.
Resource there, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And and a lot of the employers that have done the standards are great at sharing their best practice, and so it's a really good way to do that. And then with the tailor-made report, do the self-assessment at least once a year. And once you do it over the second year, it will show progress and where you've changed. They're always updating the actual toolkit itself. So they've just brought in those, and actually you can look at how you look against the same in different sectors, how they're working as well.
Hey, Marnie, what sort of investment do I need to put into this then financially, I suppose, if I'm an employer?
Yeah, so the cost to use the standards and the tool is absolutely free. It's only what you're really looking at is your time in terms of how you invest in careers education, what time and the people that you're able to release from the business to go into schools, or the resource that you need to supervise young people that are coming into the business. But the actual employer standards is free to use.
Yeah, it's amazing. And do employers love that, Matt, that it's free?
Yeah, they see when we've had some employers say, we've probably paid a consultant lots of money to do this before. So this great thing, it's also, and as a hub as well, so that we bring them lots of connections that, and if they start getting involved in the hub, they're linking with other companies from, other sectors that may become business partners in the future. So it is a great way of networking as well, of sort of getting involved with the Careers Hub. So once they start going to some of these events in the schools and doing those, it's a great way of sort of looking at different sectors, different businesses. So in all about business, building relationships, which is going to be mutually beneficial.
And I guess, Matt, if you get more businesses to do the employer standards, the businesses will be better at delivering into schools and colleges. Therefore, everything's going to flow better.
And that's the whole thing is it's all about that meaningful and impactfulness, and the standards will improve. Employers will get a better quality of young people that will come through. You've always heard the adage of businesses say, "Oh, when I interview someone, they're not ready, ready for work." well, if you're not going in there and telling them what you're looking for, how can they improve?
Love
You know what I mean?
that.
So, so that is the with standard 5, which is the application process, which is a really crucial one for employers to get involved in.
Fine. Yeah. So you are putting the onus back on the employers to go and fix these problems themselves, which makes complete sense. But you're making it so easy for them, but with the resources, with the introductions, with the links. Marnie, I wonder, is it more skills? Like if I'm an employer getting involved, is it more skills based or talent pipeline based? I wonder.
Well, it's definitely both. One of the questions we asked some questions of business once they've completed the standards around the business benefits that they find from engaging in careers education, and really interesting to see that those who score the highest for providing meaningful opportunities are twice as likely to say they don't have a skills gap in their business than those who score the lowest. So that sort of tells us that by doing this, you actually are investing in your talent pipeline and investing in your skills gap. And it reminds me of that quote about the tree. When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Right now. And it's like that with the skills gap. We've got so many businesses telling us that they have a skills gap. Now, the best time for them to have done something about that was probably a few years ago. But the second best time is right now, because that's only going to keep stay as an issue. So we really want to support businesses, and we want to make it easy for them. And we can see with the employer standards that the employers who do high quality work are definitely reporting the best business benefits. And we're also seeing, because we survey young people as well through schools, that the sectors that are doing the most high quality work are the sectors that young people are also reporting the most interest in. So there's definite business benefit both on an individual but also a sectoral basis.
Wow. And so if do you truly believe this when you wake up every day for work, that if we get every business in England, for example, to link in with a careers hub and get involved in what we're speaking about today, the skills gaps will gradually go away?
Absolutely. And we see transformational moments with young people and with businesses all the time. I had an employer who was a manufacturing firm, mid-sized, small to medium manufacturing firm, and they did the employer standards, and they realised when they did it that they weren't as inclusive as they thought they should be and wanted to be, and they made some small tweaks to what they were doing to engage differently, and as a result they're already attracting a different cohort of apprentices and a wider cohort, and they're filling some of their gaps. So I see this every day, and I hear from employers every day.
And then surely then you're saving on recruitment fees potentially, because you're going in, you're giving back and delivering the skills, but also actually selfishly getting what you want from it and then saving money. Have I got that right?
Absolutely. So 37% of employers who use the tool say that their careers education work is helping save on recruitment costs. Now that number grows the second and third time they come back and use the tool. That number is going up. We think, and that's only a hypothesis, that part of that is that they're finding out what is that connection between their outreach and their intake. And the second one is they're starting to see, how can I better influence that? So from all users, it's 37%, but each subsequent year it goes up.
We could talk about this all day, really. But hey, Marnie, it makes a good point there, Matt, because I'm a big business, let's say, and I'm doing pretty well with this. I think I'm quite good at this. This is my job, to make sure I've got schools engagement nailed around the country. Me filling out the employer standards form I might feel a bit nervous about putting that out there. But they're not being assessed, they're not being judged, and they're not going to be audited.
So it's not a public benchmark, and there's no ranking, and it is completely a self-assessment for you to learn and improve yourself. So you find out your scores, but they're not published anywhere, and it's completely private to you. We also have businesses that are using it on a site or departmental basis, and they can choose to share that within the tool in a shared dashboard with other sites and departments within their business, and that can be quite useful if they've got sort of local approaches and they want to see who's doing things well and learn from each other. But other than that, it's they can choose to share it with their local careers hub, and we encourage that because that helps the careers hub to help them. But other than that, it's private to them.
I love that, and you make such a good point. We've worked with like PwC for 10 years, IBM, EY, etc. They've got offices all around the UK, and so they can actually use this to make sure that they're standardising their approaches. Is that what big businesses do?
Yeah, so we're finding it tends to be the main uptake in that site and departmental tends to be in construction and other, some manufacturing, but mainly construction. a lot of the professional services are quite standardised in their approach, and so they'll often have a central way of doing things. But construction firms have been big on taking up that opportunity to look at site-based work, and that fits in really well with the social value work and sort of understanding how they measure that on a local basis.
That's right, Matt, because and we're going to be speaking to Barclay Group today as well on another episode of this similar podcast. They actually, if you're building like flats, so I was on the Help to Buy scheme, I remember when I did my first flat, they actually have to be giving to the community, like in terms of what they spend and what they do. And that often means working in schools, doesn't it? So this fits perfectly.
Yeah, that really fits perfectly. And, it's sort of, it ticks the boxes for that. And one of the little, little things that you do get when you complete the standards, you get a little digital badge that you can use if you wanted to share on your social media to show that you are doing that. And also as well, you can, like say, you access all those results that are there privately within the company, but you can download those and you can put those into any of your reports if the company is bidding for a social responsibility project and it has to be included in that. They can actually link it into the results from the standards as well. So,
do you think it helps construction firms actually maybe win bids sometimes if they're talking about this in a professional approach?
I mean, it does help, and I think it is there. But I think there's one of my little things is that I'd love to see more, because they have that impact and they're sort of sometimes obliged to get involved. I think it should be like within the local skills improvement plans where the growth sectors are. I think those should be more obliged, like the construction industry, to get involved in more careers education within their local communities as well, because that's their future workforce. If you think about it, working with careers education is not a quick fix. It is a long-term goal. And looking at the sort of the modern work experience and the Equalex model, that is going to start from year 7, careers from year 7, all the way through a young person's career in schooling. So employers are getting in there and sort of putting that picture of what jobs they can do from year 7 all the way up. And young people are going to get more engaged through that. But where the standards, that really sort of dovetails, so completing the standards, it dovetails into helping schools and education that way as well.
Yeah, and I guess it's a bit like, like if you go to a big careers event and your brand's not there, this is what I'm feeling like for this. If I'm not involved with the careers hub in West London and I'm a business from there, I'm going to be left behind. You mentioned there the work experience program that's coming out and we need to be aware of. You mentioned there the different events you might have going on. If I'm a business and I'm not getting involved, I'm missing out probably.
Yeah. And even, it's a large company, so the big branded companies there, it's that big brand, but it's even that local community, because if you're getting in there, it's the parents that go, oh, what would you do? Oh, we had this, the local corner shop get involved. And they'll go, oh yeah, and so they're more likely to go and visit that thing. So even if you're a micro company, getting involved and doing the standards, it's really beneficial at all levels.
Could I ask you please, Matt, I've just set up my business. It's scaled really quickly within 6 months. We've got 50 people now, hypothetically. And I've never done anything in schools, but now I need to start recruiting apprentices. I've done none of this already. So, for example, when it's asking me on the employer standards, I've actually done none of it. I can't assess myself. Where would I start with you on that?
Yeah, well, we'd sort of look at that in guidance, and we'd sort of actually sort of say, let's look at what apprenticeships you're looking to get into, and then we can start linking in with that sort of talent pipeline. So you can go into schools, talk about you as a as a business. If you've got a provider that's going to support you with your apprenticeships, they'll help you with the sort of guidance on that side. If you haven't, we've got links through local bodies as the Careers Hub that can actually support you with that as well. And then it's going in and then sort of linking in and sort of starting to speak to young people in the schools and sort of promote your apprenticeships.
And would you be able to set that up for
me? We can do that. We can connect. One of our big things, I always say as a Careers Hub, we're all about connecting and collaborating. And so it's all about that and getting people aware. In the schools, as we know, schools, the funding, the time, teachers do some amazing jobs, but and the careers leaders, but they are so time poor as well as employers. And that's where, as a Careers Hub, we're sort of like that little cog in a wheel that can help. So
that's an example of a business that's brand new. I'd go to Matt. He'd then help me get involved and start getting involved with schools. Where are you seeing the typical I suppose, most businesses that are coming and using these standards? What do they look like? Is it someone who's maybe already doing some stuff but wants to maybe make it a little bit better?
Yeah, so we do say that the standards is ideal for someone who is already doing something in schools because they've got then the chance to review that something against the standards. We do have employers who are at the very beginning, and we say to them, we do have a starter pack that they can use, which is separate to the employer standards tool. But we say some of them, if they're new enroll, and they want to get a baseline. So they answer knowing they're going to answer no for everything. But firstly, they get a baseline so they can then show their improvement over time. But the second thing is they then get access to lots of the resources. So say they are starting to do work experience for the first time ever, we have a guide which gives them templates, planning tools, examples of how to do a 2-hour work experience, how to do a half-day work experience, how to do a 1-day, a 2-day, a 3-day. So, and how would you ensure that, young people have a lot of interaction during that, how they're able to reflect on that experience to sort of really build the metacognition around reflecting on an experience to learn more from it. So there's lots of different things that we would provide in that toolkit, which have often come from other employer examples that they get access to. So that can be another benefit of going through what for someone who's answering no to everything might seem a little dry. There is a benefit even for those people because they get access to lots of the resource.
Yeah, I love it. So again, like how to start in schools, how to look at maybe building connections with schools and going into schools, how to start a work experience program, which is great for talent pipelines. All the big firms do it so well. So why don't maybe the SMEs do it too? And then actually how to form and start an apprenticeship program and scale it. And if I've already got an apprenticeship program, I can maybe work with more schools and get more applications and get even better talent, I suppose, Matt.
Yeah, and it's there, and it's part of, and the schools have to sort of, give access to sort of apprenticeships, let young people know. And there are different schemes, for example, in London as well, there is the Early Connect programme where actually apprenticeships sit on the UCAS portal. So if someone is looking at doing a certain role, it will also show the apprenticeships that are available. So they can also make that really informed choice of actually, do I go to university or do I go into an apprenticeship? So it's the whole idea of what we're doing as Careers Hubs is giving those young people that real full picture of what options they can take. So it is a real benefit to them and their parents as well, because parental advice is really keen. And some people just really feel, that the apprenticeships, as an example, some people just think it's a lower level, but it's actually, and you can go up to level 6 and you can get different roads. Taking, for example, manufacturing, one of the employers that are working with us at the moment that have done the standards, they take apprentices from 18 and it's a 4-year apprenticeship. And at the end of it, they are highly paid, and they're paid a full wage. And actually, they're paid a really good wage for engineering in making pizzas. So, you don't realise it, but that young person didn't even realise that role existed.
So I think we probably draw to an end really with this podcast. So I suppose we haven't gone over all of the 9 areas that we're being assessed on, but I think that's better for us to go and figure out as employers ourselves and go on the website. You mentioned there, it does take, about 25 minutes to complete? So that's great. And I suppose one question I do have actually, if I'm watching this podcast and I'm not from West London and I don't work with Matt, how do I find my local careers hub? Is it easy to do?
Yeah, so you can go on the Careers and Enterprise website. We have a Careers Hub finder. You just type in your postcode. Very easy. Great.
And I guess, Marnie, would there be anything else that you'd like to mention that we haven't spoken about today?
I think I would just encourage every employer to get involved. It's just so easy for them to try this and to use the tool, and it will give them a really good sense. Lots of employers who've used the tool said to us, it just opened my eyes to things that I should be doing. Some of them I sort of knew I should be doing, but it just sort of gave me that nudge. It was there starkly in black and white in front of me. It sort of gave me simple ideas to make simple changes. It wasn't about reinventing the wheel. It wasn't about throwing a lot more time or money at this. It was just about how could I tweak what I'm doing to make it much more impactful, both for the young people and for my business.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Great summary. And Matt, maybe final words from you?
Yeah. No, there's a hub we're here to help. So if any employers have not done this, want to ask questions or a bit more advice and guidance, that's what my role is as a hub. And I run regular sort of workshops online. And I can set up a Teams call, go in and speak to people. And also introduce them to employers that have actually done the standards as well. And that's one of the reasons we're doing, in these podcasts is sort of, yes, we've got our view and how great the tool is and how benefit it is to us and the young people, but actually hearing it from an employer's view that have actually done it for multi-years, is really good as well. Because sometimes, a lot of employers will only speak, verify if they've spoken to another employer that's done it. You know, it's a real key one. But we can always connect as a hub, like I say. If they're not sure, we can connect to an employer that's done it, and they can ask questions to them as well. So.
Yeah, I love it. So we've had Marnie from the Careers and Enterprise Company, Matt from one of the careers hubs in West London. And then we are going to have a subsequent podcast where we'll be speaking to a couple of employers as well and finding out how they're shaping their workforce of tomorrow. So do look out for that one as well. Thanks very much for your time today.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.